Good morning, Gold House. Today is Friday, April 24th, 3rd, 4th. And we continue to do our literary essay about a character, and that character's name is Squeaky from Raymond's Run. We have talked about how to write a literary essay. We need to reread bits of the story. We have to notice when a character speaks or uses actions, shares inner thoughts. We have to think, what is the character's motivation? We then develop a claim or a thesis statement that encompasses the whole entire character. And then yesterday, we were trying to find the most compelling evidence that supports that claim and the three main traits that you picked. So you can quote some of the text. You can story tell other parts, so retelling parts of the story, or summarize chunks of the story. So that's what we worked on yesterday. Your assignment kind of looked something like this, where I tried to make it easy so that you could see blue is one trait of Squeaky. And in that one trait of Squeaky, you were supposed to summarize the situation that surrounds that trait that you chose, find a direct quote from the text, so something either Squeaky actually says or something that the author states according to the text. On page 1, Squeaky does this. So I'm going to show you a little bit more of that. And then any action or behavior, something that Squeaky does that goes back to this trait up here. And so green was another trait of Squeaky. Purple was supposed to be another trait. So I just want to show you what Julia did yesterday. Thank you, Julia. So this is what she did. She chose energetic as Squeaky's first trait. She summarized a small chunk of where she thought she was proving that she was being energetic. She took a direct quote, as anybody can tell you, I'm the fastest thing on 2 feet. Yep, Squeaky says that. The behavior she chose, she runs so fast in the race that she wins first place medal every year. And she goes on to do the same thing for the rest of her traits. She finds something that she can quote. It looks like she needs to do that here. Oh, no, it's down further. That's right, fatso. And the next word out of anybody, and I'll be their mother too. I love Squeaky because she's so outspoken that way. And then she finishes up with protective. Julia also did a nice job of showing me that she continues to read. And then she does her journal entry, talking about her favorite teachers from grade school. So that's kind of what it was supposed to look like. Today, I want you to you're going to start typing your body paragraphs into that Google Doc literary essay of Squeaky, so that you have already started. Hopefully you have your intro paragraph done. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take what we started here and we're going to make this into a body paragraph. So Julia's going to go back today. She's going to take what I highlighted here and she's going to make it into a body paragraph. It's going to be a rough draft because there will be other things that we have to add to it, but this is going to be the start of her rough. Here is my example of my literary essay for Billy Coleman, From Where the Red Fern Grows. So you can see that I took my intro paragraph that I did with you the other day, and I have it sitting there. And then what I did is I began writing what is a rough draft of the first trait that I wanted to talk about, and that's Billy. He was so determined, and because of this, he was very responsible. So that's my first trait that I wanted to talk about. let me just show you, and then I'm going to model it for you. So I say at the beginning of the story, Billy wanted dogs badly. He would do anything to get hunting dogs. His dad, and then I'm going to quote, had no money, and if he did, he'd buy himself another mule. So if you remember that story, Dad could not afford to give him any money, because if he had any, he would have put it towards a mule. So Billy made a plan and began saving money. So right now I'm kind of retelling or summarizing that part of the story. Okay. Now I'm going to do a direct quote. Oh, actually, I'm going to just take evidence from the text. According to the author, on page 35, Billy sold fishermen fresh vegetables and bait in order to earn some change, some money. He would add every cent he made to an old KC baking can, right? So I'm trying to retell that to kind of connect my evidence. Billy said, now I am going to do a direct quote. I'm going to get those dogs someday. Okay. Then I'm going to piece together another piece of evidence. Another example of Billy being responsible is when he finally did get his dogs. He took care of them and even trained the dogs himself. I want to support that and say the author states on page 67 that Billy used a raccoon tail to train his dogs. And then if you remember, he had to actually trap and kill his raccoon. Billy had to catch the raccoon first by using a trick that his grandpa taught him. And if you remember, Billy thought he was playing a mean trick on him. You're just trying to fool me, Grandpa. That will never work, is what Billy said to his grandpa after his grandpa told him of a time when he had a pet raccoon that was curious about shiny things such as metal. And then I'm going to finish it off with, this shows Billy was very determined to get his dogs and therefore was responsible by earning the money and learning how to train his dogs all on his own. Okay, so that's kind of my wrap-up sentence. I kind of restate what I had said at the beginning for my topic sentence. Basically today, I just want you to take what you did like Julia did and put this into sentence format. If you can get that done, that would be fantastic. We'll go in next week and try to piece together, how do we make it flow? How do we add our own thinking, our own analyzing of this text? We'll talk about that later. Just get this part down into body paragraphs. So this would be, this blue part is body paragraph number 1. It's going to follow your intro paragraph. Okay, so as you're working today, I'm going to also share with you developing your body paragraphs for your literary essay. It just kind of reviews what you should be doing. Support your claim with evidence. You're going to use a quote, storytell, or summarize. And then here's my example today. I'm going to go back to my thesis statement for Will, my side of the story. And if I think back to that thesis, Will is determined to get justice because he is self-motivated, becomes inconsiderate, and finally ends up being resourceful. So notice I have self-motivated. That's my first trait that I need to create a body paragraph for. So what I did is I did the same thing that you did and Julia did. I collected my evidence. So I summarize this very beginning part, okay? So Will is sitting at his desk, minding his own business. He was practicing his signature. His brother asked him if he wanted to shoot baskets, but Will didn't want to. Will's brother wadded up a bunch of tape and stuck it in his hair, right? That I retold that. A direct quote that I could use, hey, what'd you do that for? Right? Because he was minding his own business. And then an action, Will attempted to take out the tape, but Skip had rubbed it so hard in his head that it became attached to his scalp. Okay, so I'm going to take that now and I'm going to try and piece it together into a paragraph. So here's what yours should look like already. You already have your intro paragraph for Squeaky. If you don't, that's what you'll have to work on. And you can just go back to previous lessons to see how that should go. But I start out with my second paragraph. Will was determined to seek justice because he is self-motivated. At the beginning of the story, Will was minding his own business. He was practicing his signature while sitting at his desk. Will's brother Skip came in and asked if he wanted to shoot hoops. Will said no and proceeded to work on his penmanship. Right? So then, according to the author, I better add a page number. According to the author, on page 19, Skip, and then I'm going to quote what actually happened, unraveled an entire roll of Scotch tape and stuck it on, and then I'm gonna, my head, okay? So that's what the author stated, and notice I put Will in parentheses because Will is telling the story. Then I'm gonna add that action. Will tried to get it off, but the tape became a part of his scalp. This was an outrage. Will was minding his own business and didn't even do anything to Skip to make him do such a thing, right? This is why Will is determined to seek justice. He was being self-motivated by minding his own business. Okay. Yep, that's what I meant. Okay, so again, this is just a very rough draft, but it's meant to show you that I'm retelling parts of the story. I'm giving a direct quote from the story, I even say what page number it's on, and I'm giving some action of what Will tried getting it off of his scalp. Trying to piece that all together to show that Will was minding his own business. He was being self-motivated. He was being independent, whatever words you want to use. And so this is why ultimately he is motivated. He is determined to seek justice. So this is my body paragraph. I just want you to get the framework done. Don't worry about if it's perfect because it shouldn't be perfect. It's a rough draft. We will go back in and revise, I promise. So again, today, you are going to get this as your template. Your Google Doc is where you're going to do the majority of your typing today for your rough draft. Again, if you have time, do your reading log. I really like reading those. And of course, your journal entry. Probably my favorite part of my day is reading what your responses are. So if you have questions, I have a Google Meet at 9:20 and 1:40 today. If you have questions, that would be the best time to actually talk to me. Otherwise, shoot me an email or a private message, and I will try to help you to the best of my ability. This is a working document. So again, by Monday, if all three can be done, all three body paragraphs, that would be great. But if not, it's just going to continue to be a work in progress. All right. So good luck to you. And I hope everyone has a nice weekend.